Now, what about mouthpieces? So, we all know what our shoe size is. Here's my 8.5 shoe size. How do I know it's 8.5? Well, I just sort of went into a shoe store and I tried on several shoes, and 8.5 seemed to fit. I can do 9, I can't quite do 8, and even within the 8.5 range, some are too narrow. I've got wider feet, some are too narrow, so even within that 8.5 shoe size, I have to be conscious of that and have to try them out. And that to me related to determining what for me was the most important factor, the rim diameter. Okay, so I have, and I'm sure many other trumpet players have too, invested a lot of time and money into mouthpieces. And here is what I did to determine what rim diameter I like, and also the other variables that come along with mouthpieces, such as the backbore, the cup depth, all that stuff. And I'm not a very technical person when it comes to that, but I do know what worked for me, which is I had a friend, a local lead trumpet player, Noel, who had almost complete Warburton dealer set. And Noel said, "Here, why don't you borrow this?" And so I did. And Warburton's mouthpieces seem to go from 1 to 10 when it comes to backbores, when it comes to the actual cup labeling, and then he would have a letter depending on what kind of cup style. Is it a bowl? Is it a V? Is it shallow? Is it deep? So the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to zero in on rim diameter, because I know that that to me is directly related to how it feels on my chops. So I spent about 2 days just using one backbore, and that it's a screw. If you don't know, I'm assuming everyone knows Warburton, but essentially it's here. I might even have one. It's a screw top mouthpiece. Listen to all those mouthpieces. This is a flugel. I guess this is where editing the video comes into play. Aha. So we have basically the bottom and the top. That's as basic I can put it. And for me, what I did is I started with one bottom, and I just basically picked the one in the middle, number 5, because I wasn't sure if I like a tight or an open backbore. And it's surprising. Like, I always thought I would like smaller equipment, tight backbore. Why? Because I trusted other people. I didn't experiment. So these Warburton mouthpieces allow you to use the same backbore, and they've got different cups. So this is a 5M, for example. What else did I keep? A 5SL. So I seem to have a couple of these left over. I think I even bought a couple of these. Yeah, I bought some of these. Here's a 5SV. Okay. So essentially, I started with what I think was a 3C. And I worked my way up and down. And I believe as you go down, if I remember correctly, as you go down with the Warburtons, they become bigger, and as you go up, they become smaller. I'll have to verify that, but that's my recollection anyways. This was about 5 years ago. And so I tried the same, I think it was actually a 3M, 4M, 5M, 6M, all the way across. And I basically just played a scale. And I noticed or paid attention to physically, what does it feel like? Is it comfortable? Is it not comfortable? Are the notes coming out consistently throughout the register? And then once I determined which rim diameter I like, I started changing these. And I do believe, and again, I have to check this out, and if someone can comment below, I think 10 is the biggest and 1 is the smallest. I forget now how it works. They did have it's really neat how it works. They have a little legend that you can look all these parameters up. And so once I figured out the backbore and which top I like, which diameter, rim diameter, Then I could get into things like, what is it like with a deeper versus a shallower cup, or a V cup versus a bowl cup. Because then it's kind of like I found my shoe size, 8.5, and now I want to go hiking. And I know that when I go hiking, I don't want to wear my steel-toed boots or my winter boots because that's no good. Yes, they fit, but for hiking, I need something that is a little bit more comfortable, that is a little bit more rugged, that allows me to be in a bit of a harsher environment. So I'm certainly not going to use my snow boots. I'm not going to use my steel-toed boots that I use when I used to work in the warehouse. That's when we talk about specific mouthpieces for a specific job. And for me, it's been interesting because I always thought that I would have all these mouthpieces in my arsenal. And certainly you hear of really great players who have 5 mouthpieces. Some might have even more than that. Some only have 2 or 3. So you got to figure out what works for you. But I believe it all starts with finding the rim diameter or finding your shoe size. I hope this has been helpful. I will, as always, put links to videos I've referenced below. If you would like, please sign up to my email list where I'm providing free practice sessions that are geared towards Arben's Characteristic Study 9. We've got session 1 up already. We're all working on it, the people that have downloaded it. And I will be putting up session 2 in the next coming little short while. And again, I thank you so much for your support. It's really meant a lot to me to hear from all of you, to hear questions, comments, and get all the feedback. And of course, suggestions about what you like to hear about when it comes to trumpet or just being a dad in general. Thank you very much. And as always, happy practicing.